Πάμε τώρα να δούμε για πρώτη φορά τη συγκλονιστική συνέντευξη του πατέρα της Καρολαϊν, ο οποίος αναφέρεται και λέει τα πάντα. Τι λέει? Ότι ο Αναγνωστόπουλος τη σκότωσε, γιατί θα τη σκότωνε έτσι κι αλλιώς η συμμορία των ναρκωτικών, όπου λέει κουβαλούσε μέσα στο ελικόπτερο ναρκωτικά και γινόταν η τεράστια διακίνηση ναρκωτικών ουσιών. Πάμε να ακούσουμε τη συνέντευξη.
You will be in court again for Lydia communication issues, and there Babis Anagnostopoulos' parents are going to ask for the full custody.
My opinion is that I don't think it's right that Lydia should grow up with the parents of the man that murdered her mother.
How is Lydia in Philippines? How is her new life there?
Oh, she's very, very happy there. I FaceTime her on a regular basis. She lives with my stepdaughter, who is a famous artist in the Philippines, and her husband, who's a prominent businessman. They have a lovely house. Everything that Lydia could want in life is there for her. And my stepdaughter has 3 of her own children, and is a great friend of Lydia's, and she plays with them continuously. She calls my stepdaughter Mummy, and her husband Daddy, and she looks upon the children of my stepdaughter as brothers and sisters. So it would be ridiculous, in my opinion, to have her stay with the parents of the man that murdered her mother.
Is Lydia going to stay in the Philippines permanently, or will she return to Greece?
Well, not at the moment. I don't want to disturb her because she's so happy there, you see.
Do you miss her?
Of course I do. She's a wonderful little girl. She reminds me exactly of her mother was at that age. She's a very bright little girl. She talks a lot in English and in Greek. When Lydia was here, she was seeing the parents of Caroline's killer for about 4 or 5 days a month. And she wanted to know who they were, you see. And what do you tell a little girl who these people are? It's very difficult to explain to a child that these are the parents of the man that murdered your mother. At the moment, she doesn't know that her mother was murdered. She just thinks her mother has died, but as a young child, she doesn't really understand death.
What does Lydia know about her father?
We've never spoken about him at all. She's never asked about her father, and so we've never spoken about it. The thing is, when she was here, she didn't understand really why she didn't have a mother like other children. But of course, she's going to understand it very soon. And I have to tell the truth. I can't lie to her. How can I lie now? And then when she finds out the truth, she'll always know that I lied to her. It's impossible. You can't lie to her.
Do you know that Caroline wanted to move with Lydia to the Philippines, away from Alonisos?
Oh yes. Caroline was very, very close to her stepsister, and they would speak frequently on the phone, and they would message each other. My stepdaughter, we knew that Caroline wasn't happy, and she knew that they talked about Caroline leaving Greece altogether and going to the Philippines. In February, the murderer is going to go to court to try and get his sentence reduced. He should never get out of jail. Ever. That's what I feel. Paying that allowance to Caroline, I didn't know. Blood. And he was a coward. He didn't even kill her when she was awake. He went till she was asleep and killed her. Now, can you imagine what a coward he is? He couldn't face her when she was awake. I mean, that's a terrible, terrible thing to do.
According to reports, during his trial, Babis almost blamed Caroline for what happened the night on her murder.
Can you imagine how bad that is? I mean, Caroline was a young girl with good qualifications. Everyone loved Caroline. Everyone on the island came to the funeral. The shops were closed, the businesses were closed, the hotels were closed. It seemed that all that money was taken by Bobby, and he bought the land in his name alone. Can you imagine that?
It's unthinkable that he murdered Caroline in front of their child.
I'll tell you why. I know exactly why. Do you know that he was involved with a drugs gang? There was a restaurant that Babby and Caroline used to go to. And the man there who owned the restaurant was involved in drugs. And he spoke to Babby and he told him that they needed, the gang that he was involved with, needed a helicopter pilot to bring some drugs around. So he would just do one job, and that was it. He would get paid a lot of money. I have a letter from Babby telling me what happened. Babby was very stupid. What he did, instead of keeping his mouth shut, he told Caroline. Now, Caroline was a very honest person, and she said she would not have anything to do with this. If he continued with this drugs business, she would leave immediately and go to the Philippines. So he then told the people, the gang, that he couldn't do it. And they asked him why. And he said, this tells you how stupid he is. He said, well, I told my wife, and if I do it, she's going to leave me. And they said, well, you can't tell your wife. You've got to keep her quiet. If she leaves me, it'll be all right. And they said, no. If she leaves you, she'll go away and she'll always know this. And one day she's going to talk. So we'll have to get rid of her. And they said, well, he said you can't do that. So in the end, he killed her. That was the only reason he killed her, because he thought that if he didn't, both he and Caroline would be killed by the drugs gang. No, Babby did. He wrote me a letter.
He wrote you a letter?
Yes, he did. And he told his mother as well. If you speak to his mother, you'll get confirmation of this.
Why didn't Babby mention anything relevant during the trial?
Why? To what point? The man was tried for premeditated murder and received the maximum sentence. That's the end of the story for me. The letter I've got from him is typed. It's written in very good English, but it's typed, and it's not signed. It's not a confession. But if you speak to his mother, she'll tell you what the truth is.
Είναι συγκλονιστικά τα όσα λέει ο πατέρας της Καρολαϊν. Το θέμα είναι εάν είναι μια δικαιολογία πάλι του Αναγνωστόπουλου, γιατί δεν έχουμε συνηθίσει σε ψέματα. Αλλά εδώ πέρα αναφέρεται ότι έκανε εμπόριο ναρκωτικών.
Έτσι, χειρότερα.
Αναφέρεται ότι έκανε και εμπόριο ναρκωτικών. Ότι ήταν μπλεγμένος. Αναφέρεται σε ιδιοκτήτη εστιατορίου για μεγάλο κύκλωμα. Δηλαδή εδώ τα λέει όλα χαρτί και καλαμάρι. Είναι μια συγκλονιστική εξομολόγηση του πατέρα της Καρολάιν για τα όσα γνωρίζει και έχουν γίνει γνωστά.